613. This is 1320 WILS. Customer service. Wow, have you gotten any good service recently? Well, listen to this story. Down in Texas, these medical professionals at one of the hospitals there ordered a pizza from Domino's late at night, and they got a note on the pizza box saying, quote, "We would appreciate it very much if you didn't wait until 5 minutes before we close." So where are we now, these kinds of customer service events? We're joined by Michael Ray Newman. He's a customer service expert. He heads the company ZIGLAR International, where he basically trains companies on customer service. So, Michael, great to have you here.
I appreciate you having me, guys.
ZIGLAR. I like that. Where'd that name come from?
Mr. Zig Ziglar has been around. He's a motivational speaker and also a great salesperson of the last 40 years. Mm-hmm. And he passed away a few years ago, and he had a famous quote that he built his company around. It said, "You can have everything in life you want if you can just help enough other people get what they want." So this Paris, Texas deal is totally contradicting to everything that we stand for and that he stood for.
Yeah. When did he pass away, Zig Ziglar?
3 years ago. Passed away 3 years ago. He had 33 books, impacted 250 million people worldwide. He's just got a sincere, great heart, and he was a servant leader, and that's what we kind of teach.
Really? So he probably saw where things were going. Well, what was his view, and what's your view on the state of customer service today?
Well, first of all, I can tell you right now, I'm from Texas, and if that mama found out who wrote that boy's probably in trouble.
Well, the folks who got the note thought it was rude, but, I mean, it didn't necessarily use any swear words. It was a simple request. What was so rude about writing that on the box?
Well, that's just really the old adage stays true. The customer's always right, and if we're open till 12, we're going to make pizzas until 12:03. Uh-huh. That's what should have happened. And what really blows me away about that, I want to know who wrote that inside that industry, because if I'm a pizza delivery guy, I get paid on tips.
Right. So
that would be
they'd be taking it. You think it's somebody that was not somebody back in the store that wrote that down?
Yeah, more than likely it was somebody who was making it. It was a bad decision. As a business, I'm also a business owner, and as a business owner, you create a culture in your industry, and that's a training issue, mm-hmm. and you put procedures and people in place. And there's a big disconnect where they have. And I will tell you this: in the United States alone, the speaking and training industry is a $70 billion industry. It's up 20% over last year, and what we teach on more than anything else: customer service, leadership, employee engagement. Well, customer service is the number one.
Michael Ray Newman, by the way, is with the ZIGLAR International. Tell me this, though. What do you do when you're paying someone very little money, right? And this is food service work. It's certainly not a career path. I mean, how do you get them to really be highly motivated for customer service?
That's a really good point. I mean, it's really simple with the sales piece of it. As far as the delivery drivers, they're working on commission. Uh-huh. A lot of times in that kind of industry, they'll tip out their back end people. That's one way they do monetize it. Uh-huh. But it is just a good common sense approach to when you can tie somebody's what they do to what their goals are. Yeah. And it's really just taking the time to get to know the person on such a small level and such a small team like that. I think there's a real opportunity for coaching and training for the business owner to his staff, as far as just to keep that team mentality going.
Yeah. What about nowadays, the young people? Do they have a different attitude about what customer service is and what their rights are, I guess, as workers?
Yeah, I think that's a big disconnect with the millennials now. We teach a lot of generational communication, and it's on the parents, us as parents, the helicopter parents, and the self-entitlement. They've lost that ever since the greatest generation. They feel like we've lost a generation on we overserve. It's better to give than receive, and I think that's been lost a little bit. And that really in our culture needs to be retaught, and that's what training does, especially in the speaking and training industry for customer service and small business and corporate alike.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean, especially to me, it's the low-end jobs that are tough to really push customer service, because people are there's a high turnover rate, and people don't really view the job as something they necessarily want to be doing for very long. Now,
you're exactly right.
Hey, tell me this: the company Domino's is this a fireable offense in your view?
Yeah, imagine. In my opinion, that's 1, 2, and 3 strikes, and I pretty sure you'd be out the door on that one.
You fire somebody over that. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It's also a great coaching opportunity if you work or coaching teaching moment, because Parish is a small town, small community, and if this hadn't have gone viral, he would have been at his local breakfast house in the morning. The owner of Domino's, or the manager, he would have heard that. He could have went back to his team and turned that into a real coachable moment, just depending on how it went. I know me personally, if somebody puts something up like that, I believe that's probably they have the opportunity to go find a job somewhere else.
Yeah, but there is that feeling, though, right, at the end of a shift where people just want to get out of there, and then that last customer walks in, right, and it's like, oh, no, here we go.
Have we all not been there, right?
Yeah. And what is the idea? I guess you're just trying to instill that, hey, this is your job, and you need to. Yeah, but tell me this: do you think that's lacking in general, besides the functionality of jobs, where they really don't encourage people to at least be friendly towards customers? I notice nowadays there's just a flatness about these situations.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's especially small business, they don't want to spend any time training or teaching how to treat other people, basically, because there is high turnover, and they feel like if I spend a lot of money training them, they're going to go somewhere else. But here's the mistake. Here's the mistake they make. What happens if you don't train them and they stay?
Yeah, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm being friendlier than the person behind the counter. Do you ever get that feeling?
Yes, sir. And especially if I'm at a restaurant or where I'm tipping someone.
Yeah.
I mean, the tip at the turn of the century, TIP. The acronym came from to ensure performance. And in the old days, they would put the money on the table, and if you came too often, they would pull some away. If you came not enough, they would pull some away.
And
you can see, that's that's just been lost in the generation and translation. And
maybe that's a good idea. Put the dollars down initially and start taking them off the table minute by minute. Because sometimes I feel like I don't know, they need to be cheered up. So I'm trying to get them to be in a better mood. But look, it's something that we need more of, certainly, more customer service. Michael Ray Newman, ZIGLARinternational.com, where they train service workers all over the country on how to do it better. Michael Ray Newman. Michael, thanks.
I appreciate you. Call me if you need me.
Excellent.